Hello again, Ed Stacey, an analyst from Capital Network, is here with us to talk about MTI Wireless Edge. Before we do that, just to make it clear, you can see Ed's full report by clicking the I in the corner of your screen. Ed Stacey, welcome. So, MTI Wireless Edge, who are they? What do they do?
So MTI Wireless is an electronics firm. It's headquartered in Israel, London listed. The company's been delivering very strong growth the last few years, and yet the valuation is really surprisingly low compared to that very strong growth rate. And there's a development that's underway at the moment which we think might address that situation by increasing the free float, bringing the company onto investors' radar screen a bit more. So what that development is they've reached an agreement to merge with MTI Computers. That's a related company that's listed in Tel Aviv and has a 53% shareholding in MTI Wireless. So you've got MTI Wireless in London, 53% owned by this Tel Aviv listed entity, and then MTI Computers in Tel Aviv also has a few other operating assets of its own as well. What will happen is all of it is brought into the London listing, so all of it is in MTI Wireless Edge, and that will increase the free float, and I think it'll make the story simpler for investors. So I think that development's going to help.
So that's how they're structured, but what about what they actually make? You mentioned electronics, but electronic what?
So MTI Wireless makes antennas for a variety of applications, commercial applications like wireless network applications, 5G and so on, and radio frequency product tracking, also a few military applications, and then finally they make the wireless control mechanism. So this isn't just the antenna but actual control mechanism for smart irrigation systems. So these irrigation systems, for example, in parks and gardens in Israel or in Australia, South Africa, also in agricultural applications where you're controlling the irrigation system electronically. Big growth market, that one. We've got some details of that in the report. But yeah, so across the communications and the irrigation, a lot of growth markets addressed by MTI Wireless. And then when you throw in MTI Computers, it just gives you a few other capabilities like, for example, electronic systems for surveillance balloons. So a bit more technology comes in, plus the simplified shareholding.
And they started out at quite a low valuation relative to their growth rate. Tell us more about that. Why is that so?
Yes, I mean, it's actually the earnings growth from MTI Wireless. So this is just as a standalone, 70% earnings growth per year over the last 3 years. That's driven the share price over the last 3 years is up 170%, which sounds a lot, but I mean, you will get that kind of share price performance when you've got that kind of earnings growth. It still leaves you though on a PE of under 10 times. So now what we've done in our report is to show you those metrics for MTI together with the pro forma metric of what it looks like once you put in the additional assets from MTI Computers. You end up with a stock that is on a cheap valuation relative to the growth, and I think people will start to notice that more once the merger's gone through and once everyone can see the combined entity.
Great update, Ed Stacey. Thanks very much indeed. And don't forget, as we said earlier, if you want Ed's full report, click on the I in the corner of your screen.